helping you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
We got some good neighbors and we like bragging on them. Nominate a good neighbor every day. Put it in writing on WGNS. WGNS. AM, FM, online. All that's news with Matt Lane. Weekday afternoons.
WGNS, your good neighbor station.
Rutherford County's place to talk. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Well, it is another Wednesday, and welcome into the Roundtable here on WGNS. Chip Walters with you from the Blue Raider Network and Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. And being a morning after a football game, I'm a little bit bassier than normal. But it was a good night at Floyd Stadium. Blue Raiders got the win 31-23 and over Louisiana Tech, and will play next Tuesday night as part of the Conference USA television package at Liberty. And Liberty right now, they were winners at Jacksonville State last night, so they are one of two undefeateds left in Conference USA. So that'll be next Tuesday, a 6 o'clock kickoff, and we'll be on the air at 4:30. Instead of telling you it's Wednesday, I'll just say it's Chicken Finger Basket Day, and that will maybe tell you who our guest is today, and I'll spill the beans. It is Wade Hayes of Toots, and it's great to see you here. And I can't believe you haven't been on one of these shows to talk about what we're going to talk about today.
Well, me either, I guess. I've been kind of laying low.
You have been laying low.
Staying out of trouble.
That's a good thing. But Wade is one of the founders of Toots Restaurants, and that has, there are people who come to school here. There are people who come to TSSAA events that they may only come to Murfreesboro one time a year from Elizabethton or Union City or wherever, but outside of Murphy Center, the other place they're going to stop is Toots. And that's got to make you feel good when those people have come back and they're here for an event like that, and the one place they want to go is the local institution, Toots Restaurant.
Well, yes, and I think, there's been a lot of history over the years.
Yep.
Back in the early days when we first got the TSSAA tournaments, I mean, we were about the only restaurant in town that could, that was more than just a fast food place.
Yeah. Well, you are a Memphis State guy.
Yep.
And Memphis State grad. How did you end up in Murfreesboro to start with? What was the Reader's Digest version of that story?
Well, I was in college. I was working in a restaurant, graduated, and then was going to go into banking. And at the time I was working at a restaurant, they made me an offer that kept me there working in the restaurants. They had Overton Square in Memphis.
Okay.
And
near the zoo.
Yeah, and after I graduated, they promoted me and gave me a job overseeing about 5 restaurants right there in Madison Avenue. And but I had my eye on Nashville. I wanted to stay in the restaurant business, and Nashville was the up and coming kind of mecca for new concepts. Cracker Barrel, O'Charlie's, Logan's Roadhouse. Shoney's started, in Nashville, which kind of spawned a lot of, there was all kind of the Cooker and
wow, those are
yeah,
running some names by us there.
Right, and so I had a mutual friend that introduced me to Jim Demas, and Jim at the time owned 14 restaurants in Middle Tennessee area. Demas's wasn't open yet.
Yeah, I was just say of those 14, Demas's was not one of them.
No, and it was Trappers and Western Sizzling, and he was kind of in every market. And I was just overwhelmed. They invited me up, and I interviewed and looked around. They had a lot going on here, and so he made me an offer. And he it was really funny because he said, "I've got all these restaurants, and we would love to fit you in somewhere, but I've got this one place in Murfreesboro we're kind of struggling with called Toots." Now, I'd never heard of it, and really never been to Murfreesboro. And he said, if you want to take a job with Toots, you could be my partner. And I was 24 years old, and I thought, well, man, I could be a part owner of a restaurant, and that's the one I want. I mean, I kind of knew it before I even saw it or came to Murfreesboro. In my mind, got really excited. So my wife and I came up and looked around and came to Toots, and that's how it started with me.
So obviously with Jim, he with the Western Sizzlings, those were franchises.
Correct.
Now, was Trappers his idea, or was that a franchise as well?
I'm assuming it really was, because he was taking the Western Sizzlings that were underperforming,
right,
and converting them into Trappers, which was a sit-down restaurant with servers.
Right.
And Western Sizzling was not. You walked through a line and picked a number 5 or a number 8, and then got a little card and sat down at your table. And so I think there was about 3 Trappers, and the rest were Western Sizzlings at the time.
Yeah, and then and he started Toots, which it originally had a little bit of a different name. It was Tooters.
Yeah, Tooters, and that all happened because the mutual friend of ours, was a man named Mike Thompson. He was down in Clearwater, Florida, and Hooters had opened up, and he said, "Jim, fly down here and look at this place. They got a line down the street." And so they came up and bought the old Odom's Country Junction.
Oh, that's right.
Which
That's a great trivia
Tennessee
question
pride.
here in town.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a kind of them and Bob Evans. They all tried to get in Cracker Barrel. They all tried to get in on the Cracker Barrel action.
Right. But Odom's Country Junction was based around Tennessee Pride sausage.
And and they were based out of Nashville.
Correct. Out there near Opryland, actually.
Right. And they opened 4 restaurants all at one time. I guess they did. I don't know. I never went in one, but they really didn't know what they were doing, so they shut them down.
Huh.
And
so that building was there.
That building was there, and Jim and Mike bought it for $90,000.
Wow!
Back in 1985,
which sounds like a lot.
That's a story that I know that I've come to know over the years. And then they called it Tooters.
Yeah.
And then Hooters started growing, and they called them out on it. And so Jim and Mike called an attorney in Nashville. And this is before the internet and .com. There was none of that. You had to get a copyright attorney involved, and they bought that from a company called Chart House, who owned a breakfast cereal division of General Mills and also restaurants.
Okay.
And it was in their name bank that they owned, that they had federally registered trademark. And so Jim and Mike bought that and
bought the name,
converted it to Toots.
There you go.
And then I came in shortly after that, after all the all the battles were over, and really not knowing any of the history.
That had to be fun, because it still at that time was still, I guess, could be considered a startup.
It absolutely was, and it was hardly doing any business, and it was mainly geared to college. They thought they were going to get a lot of the market, and no families were coming in, no females were coming in as customers. It was just kind of a guy hangout. And
well, I mean, the uniforms have changed over the years of the people who work there, and no more hula hoops on the bar.
Right.
That
I brought a couple pictures of that actually to show you, to remind you.
Yeah, and that those kind of things changed. I guess was it your wow, look at that.
There you go.
That's something. Yep. Crazy. And because I knew there's some young ladies that I went to college with that were working there and as servers, as so many, hundreds and thousands over the years who have worked for you coming through there. But when in that process was
it was an unbelievable experience for me because Jim was so busy with all his
everything.
Massive restaurants all over, from Clarksville to Tullahoma to just all over the place. And so I kind of was left alone to do my thing here. And I was like, we've got to get some families in here. We need to kind of change our concept really quick. And so we started eliminating a lot of the things that were in place. And, we started closing early instead of staying open late. We put a kids menu in there. We backed off the hula hooping. We hired male servers and male hosts. And so we had a good balance of female to male employees.
Right.
And we started running daily specials. And we started getting involved in doing our own fundraisers and just creating fun.
Right.
And
good food and fun.
And we really changed our menu. And that was, one of the things that was extremely enjoyable for me was to
develop that,
test things and see what worked and what failed, and just grew the menu.
What was on there originally that you inherited that changed, and not that Jim did not know food, because Lord knows he does.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we had items like a Boston steamer, which was steamed clams, mussels, crab legs, and some shrimp.
Yeah.
In a bucket, and that works if you're on the coast.
Right, exactly.
But having to bring in frozen seafood and try to pull that off, and mussels are good for about 3 days, and then they're no good. Same with clams, and so we started backing things like that off the menu, and bringing in more sandwiches, salads. We didn't even have any. We had a ham and cheese salad, and that was it, and it was kind of a strange menu item.
Yeah, and but I'm telling you,
we went 10 years before we started doing chicken fingers.
You are kidding?
No, we didn't have honey mustard. It wasn't out yet. Ranch dressing was Green Goddess.
Okay.
So anybody that is, when you see Green Goddess in the store, it's kind of made a little comeback.
Yeah,
that's the original ranch dressing, and so.
It wasn't Hidden Valley at the time.
No, Hidden Valley, introduced that ranch product.
But honey, that's right. Honey mustard was not even a thing.
It wasn't. Chicken fingers weren't a thing.
I know.
It's insane to think of that.
That and really, and one of the things that you all was a staple was wings, and that had not. Wings were nothing like they are now.
That's
as far as a big deal. But I mean, but chicken fingers in particular. Good Lord, y'all sold millions of those.
Right.
And
fried pickles. I mean, that,
whose idea was that?
I have no idea. I'm assuming it was Jim and
okay.
Mike.
So you did inherit that.
I did inherit that recipe and that item, and it's just, I can't believe it's turned into what it's turned into today. The amount we buy 5-gallon buckets of pickles, and we go through, if you can believe this, about 60 5-gallon buckets a week between the 4 restaurants.
Wow. I mean, you get 3 here in town and the 1 in Smyrna. Mm-hmm. So that is something. Now, to me, when I look at the menu but there's so many things that are just, I mean, you got 3 or 4 different kinds of burgers. You've got, and I still not sure of the difference between boneless wings and chicken fingers. They're fairly similar. and you've wings and you get the salads and all of that. How did you? The one thing that to me is kind of the outlier is the chicken on a stick with the cherry whatever sauce.
Right. Well,
but people love it.
Yeah, we had that on a restaurant menu. I worked in Memphis.
Okay.
And we had steak on a stick and chicken on a stick. And so that's one of the things I introduced from my past. And man, then we sell a ton of those too.
Yeah.
It was a great marinade. It's our quote unquote healthy item.
There you go. And then I mean, because you obviously have developed a lot of that over time, but it is
cherry mustard.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And
right.
I brought in your goodie box. I brought you as a do-it-yourself cherry mustard.
Ah, nice. So when you talked about you started going through that process as a young guy testing a lot of things. What are some things that did not make the cut?
Oh my goodness, a meatball sandwich.
Oh really?
Yeah, and it was because we didn't have the capability of making our own meatballs, and
right.
You know, and making that justifiable takes a lot of prep time, and so I can't even hardly remember. I know my favorite story on trying to develop a menu is our seafood salad. And,
right.
In the seafood salad, and even today, is imitation crab meat.
Right.
And shrimp. And those are the two seafood items. Well, I thought, boy, our customers really need, a better product than imitation crab legs. So I brought in fresh lump crab meat. It cost a fortune. And we made the seafood salad with, the real deal. And we put it out. We ran it on lunch special. And I thought, here we go, man. This is going to be a top-of-the-line item for us. And it's easy to make. It's easy to serve. It's fast coming out of the kitchen. I mean, just everything about it's perfect. Just a little expensive. Well, people started sending it back. They said they didn't like it. They said it tasted fishy. People said it was spoiled. And when we just made it like an hour ago. and what it was they weren't used to that strong, real lump crab meat flavor in a pasta salad. But it was things like that.
So the imitation crab meat won out overall.
It did. And frog legs. We had those. I
remember you had frog legs on.
Yeah, we had them for years and years, and finally we took them off because they just weren't selling anymore. But back in the day, in the 80s, we sold a ton of frog legs.
Because you were about the only place that had them.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah,
and people, that if you could think back that far, there weren't a whole lot of restaurants in Nashville. Believe it or not,
yeah,
there just wasn't. Downtown Nashville had nothing. It had the spaghetti factory, and that's it.
And then Prime Cut Steakhouse came in next door to it. But you're right. And when Merchants opened, that was like a big deal. And now
our biggest competition was Hickory Hollow Mall. The restaurants around that area,
and Picnic Pizza inside the mall.
Yeah,
the things that were in there. All right, Wade Hayes is our guest today. If you've got some memories of Toots and want to check in with us, you can drop us a text at 615-893-1450. We'll go a little deeper into the story of Toots Restaurants here in Murfreesboro after this on the Wednesday Roundtable on WGNS.
1, 2, it's coming for you. 3, 4, you could win much more. 5, 6 on a scratch ticket. 7, 8, it's not too late. The new haunted Jumbo Bucks instant game. With a top prize of $75,000, it's a terrifyingly great way to celebrate Halloween. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Just remember to play responsibly. 9, 10, time to play again.
Hi, this is Mike Cutter. I'm the owner of the award-winning family-owned home care agency, Honey Hill Home Care. My daughter Becca and I started Honey Hill as a result of personal need and understand what you and your family are going through. Learn more at honeyhillhc.com.
Pizza. You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carry-out or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Hey guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your health assessment at Low T Center, where they now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for only $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatment. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. care.
Listen live to WGNS Radio on our website and Alexa or Google devices. Search WGNS Radio for on-demand podcasts in iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher. Plus, we have direct links to podcasts at WGNSradio.com.
We're learning about Adams Place.
My name is Carrie Shannon. It was kind of hard to leave, but once you leave and you see where you've come to, you know that you made the right decision.
Do you enjoy the food at Adams Place?
Yes, at Adams Place, you feel like you are in an upscale restaurant. Really good food, good for you, and is very delicious. We enjoy it very much.
I'm Terry Deal. Call me for more information about Adams Place, 1927 Memorial Boulevard, across from Walmart.
Call Adams Place today at 615-904-9111.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
I've got pests.
AmeriCare Services Incorporated, family owned and operated. For residential and commercial customers, we offer a full range of services. Our services include one-time, monthly, and quarterly pest control, termite control, moisture and fungus control, automatic foundation vents, and more. Licensed, insured, and bonded for your protection. 893-7111.
All the best of the best to get rid of your pests.
AmeriCare Services Incorporated.
WGNS is happy to promote your church and civic club's special events. Try to get them to us a month before they happen. The Red Cross is critically low on blood. Call the Red Cross and see when their schedule meets your schedule. Phone 800-RED-CROSS. Don't forget those ghost tours this weekend at the Sam Davis Home in Smyrna. Just a couple of weeks left for the farmers markets. The farmers market at the Lane Agri Park is every Tuesday and Friday morning from 7 until noon. That's at the Lane Agri Park at 315 John R. Rice Boulevard. Then the Saturday marketplace around the Rutherford County Courthouse. That's Saturday mornings from 8 until noon. Our hats off to the Main Street program for giving us the Saturday morning marketplace. And while you're in the downtown Murfreesboro area, check out those scarecrows as well as sculptured pieces all around the historic area. Thank you, Main Street. And at the same time in Smyrna, the farmers market's right there at the train depot. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Good neighbor weather.
Cloudy skies here for this afternoon. We'll see high in the upper 70s. South winds of 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, decreasing clouds, a low near 53. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 54.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE has provided light, comfort, and connection to our community since 1936. As your trusted energy advisor, MTE is always here to help. Connect online or download the My MTE app.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Oh, welcome back into the Wednesday Roundtable. Chip Walters here. Wade Hayes is our guest from Toots, and Toots started in 1985. Can you believe it's going to be
38 years?
Yeah.
We're heading to 39, and we're right almost 40.
Almost 40 years. Now,
Smyrna, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary.
That's crazy.
When we opened Smyrna, it was the second restaurant on Sam Ridley Parkway. The first one was the Catfish House.
Okay.
Which is long gone.
Yeah.
And they closed down to be plowed down and that area to be developed. And for about a year, Toots was the only restaurant on Sam Ridley Parkway. And if anybody's been down Sam Ridley Parkway lately, it's insane.
It is insane. You're right. Now, the thing that's hard to believe, and we touched on it just a little bit, but Toots is actually, 4 years older than Demas's?
Yeah.
And people will sit here and argue that they do not believe that, but that's the case.
It is the case, yeah.
And you have a chart,
yeah.
And while Toots came online in '85,
right,
and was just going crazy. Demas's came online 4 years later, and you're saying that 1995 is kind of what was the year that when we voted in liquor by the drink, that changed the whole restaurant scene in Murfreesboro, right?
Right. Well, that was in around 1987, I think.
Gotcha.
When I came in 80, I started talking to Jim in 87, and then
Gotcha.
came in 88, and we already had liquor, and at that point. And but 95 is when the area, and Mark Pirtle was instrumental in a lot of that growth, and the Chamber of Commerce was instrumental in a lot of that growth. We had just a very active business people, spearheading a lot of projects, and so 95 was when the mad rush.
It was
came
kind of
in.
a big watershed year for restaurants coming into town, like such as
Logan's Roadhouse, Barbecuity,
wow,
Santa Fe. I've got Cracker Barrel Corner Market.
Holy cow!
You remember that Bung and Nut
it was
Pig?
out on Memorial.
The original Bung and Nut Pig.
Right.
Jonathan's on the Square.
Right.
All right, which is now Puckett's.
Right.
But the original
Jonathan. It was Jonathan Nebel who started that at the time. Yeah.
A friend of mine, and they're great people. Corky's.
Yeah.
Barbed Wires.
Barbed Wires, golly.
Barbed Wires is where Longhorn Liquor is now. On Broad, right across from the Square. And some of these, they're so faded. Logan's Roadhouse. I said that already.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, that State Farm headquarters used to be right where Logan's Roadhouse and Hooters is today. And that whole area there.
You had the State Farm and Larry Count's Automotive Repair.
Yeah.
Elcar was on the corner.
Right.
And they're surrounded by the State Farm.
And then Ruby Tuesday, when they opened up.
That's right.
In that same little area, and it's now a doctor's office, I think. And it just, it was just hang on and try to keep our customers, and but it wound up being a good thing because it kept people from going to Hickory Island Mall or Rivergate Mall.
When people had choices, is that?
Yeah, they stayed here in town, and it almost created we're not leaving Murfreesboro. We're going out to eat, and it's going to be here.
Yeah.
And that really helped all of us, honestly.
Yeah, we during the break we were talking about some different things and items that have come on the menu, and when you think about what your menu is going to be, obviously, and a lot of people on it. Well, hey Wade, you need to put this on the menu, or you need to put that.
Here's
on the menu.
What you ought to do.
Yeah. Or here's my favorite that I love. He goes, if y'all were smart, if you do this, but there are formulas about how you go about doing that, and how, like for instance, your chicken fingers. Well, that can be part of a fried chicken salad, or those
That's
kind of
right.
things, because you have limited space.
Mm-hmm.
You've got chicken, you've got beef. What are the challenges as far as putting a menu together?
Well, what we have done is we have the exact same menu at all 4 locations, and we have
that has to be helpful.
Exact same prices, the exact same specials, and by doing so, we can be interchangeable if somebody calls out sick, or if we lose somebody and they quit of importance, we can move somebody in, move them around. But when we built Smyrna is when we built a huge kitchen, also Toots South, and then Toots West has got just a fascinating kitchen, very high tech, very large, lots of walk-in coolers. But Broad Street has got a little teeny tiny kitchen, and so we have to be real mindful of not, bringing on things like quesadillas and grilled fish and stuff like that. I mean, we just have limited space, and you got to keep that stuff away from burgers while you're grilling and other things. So it just involves a lot of thought.
Yeah. That's really, I mean, it's interesting how, how all that happens and comes together. But is it, like you mentioned, that Toots West has the high-tech kitchen, the mothership, Broad Street, has what it has, but you still run the same menu, same specials?
Correct.
Yeah. How did, when you started to come up with daily specials, let me see if I get them right here. Monday, boneless wings or wings, right?
Chicken fingers or wings.
Right, but okay, but they call them boneless wings on
Some
Monday.
places do, and that's just processed chicken.
Right.
That's really not boneless
Okay,
wings.
Tuesday's Burger Day.
Right.
Wednesday is Chicken Finger Basket Day.
Right.
Thursday has always been kind of the wild card day.
Yeah, we switched that one around.
Yeah.
Cajun chicken salad or a
There you go.
sandwich,
Yeah.
Philly cheesesteak.
And Friday is either catfish or shrimp basket day.
Yeah,
Or
correct.
clam.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's there. And there, I remember this. I've known you so long, and I remember coming in there on a cold, kind of snowy day one time, and I got one of the, I was such a staple in there, I guess. Whoever my server was said, I want some chili and a grilled cheese sandwich. And it came out, and, and obviously when you buy something a la carte like that, it's going to be a little more expensive. So it was, but it was, delicious and all of that. And I ran into you. I said, Wade, when you have a snow day, be kind of have a grilled cheese and chili special, and next time it snowed, I drove down Broad Street, and it was on the chip special.
Yeah.
I think Monica was the one who took care of that. It said the chip special, grilled cheese and and chili, $4.99, whatever it was that day. And I said I finally made it.
Makes sense. That's right.
I made it, and it was weather related, and I thought that's big time. I've made the marquee at Toots.
That's awesome. Yeah, and then we still do that in cold weather.
Yeah,
we'll pop that up as a special.
Yep. When you had, and I think about Monica, who now lives over in McMinnville,
right?
And there are individuals who over the 30 some odd years, there's a handful of folks who,
instrumental.
I mean, and you go in, and they were there for 10, 15 years,
right?
That worked with you, and how important was it to have that base of those people that became managers for you at different places? Because anytime
we still have them, and we have employees, and I could just start rattling off names, but I won't do that on the air. I guess the main one that I have to name, and that's my son Nick.
Yeah,
he started. I made him come to work when he was 14 years old.
Right,
and now I won't give his age, but he just had a birthday, a mid-30s birthday.
Wow,
and so he's been there over 20 years, and he runs all the restaurants now for us, and just does a better job than I did. So I just kind of have to stand back sometimes.
I hear him on the radio commercials now.
Yeah, true.
So because I remember Nick when he was a little kid, and what did he start doing first? Did he start bussing tables a little bit? Or?
He did. That's him right there at a 4th of July party.
Wow.
And let's see. And this is
we're showing pictures here today.
Yeah, it's picture day.
Wow. That is the office at Broad Street.
Right. It's now a storeroom.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But so we have like Jennifer Rourke. She works in our office now and handles things like accounts payable and payroll and all that. Well, she started off in Smyrna when we opened the Smyrna store 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's stayed with us, and we have almost 400 employees.
Wow. At any given time.
Right.
Yeah. And so they're there every day. What is for somebody who comes to work there, what is what is their day like when they come in?
Okay. Well, it is depends on what your job is.
Right.
The cooks get there around 8 o'clock in the morning. The opening manager gets there at 7:30, and we prep all morning and clean, and so we're cleaning the dining room, cleaning the restrooms, and then we got a crew that's in the kitchen, preparing. We make everything pretty much from scratch.
Right.
And so we go through our process every day of doing that. We open at 11. The service staff, the front of the house, crew comes in around 10:45. We have a meeting, about a 5-minute meeting every single day at 10:45 for them. The night crew, they swap out at 5 o'clock. They come in at 4:45. We have about a 5-minute meeting with that whole crew, and just rinse, wash, and repeat.
So that
7 days a week.
So basically, for your servers and all, that's a they're basically two shifts,
Yes.
a day shift and an evening shift.
That's right.
And that's how it works out. So, and how many? I mean, this would be a total guess, I would imagine. How many employees do you think over time, servers, do you think that you have had on the payroll at over 38 years?
I don't know. North of 10,000, I would
easily
say.
I would say that's probably right. One of the things we are going to talk some numbers about wings and things like that, but kind of to go back to your daily specials, which I was able to reel those off. How did you develop those and figure out what they were going to be?
Well, we didn't have any lunch business.
Really? Okay.
And back in the 80s, and just no one came in. And so we had to lure them in somehow or another. So we started the specials back in the 80s. And some of them are just still there today. We just raised the price a little bit. But even at $6.99, if you come in and get a half-pound burger and fries, or a chicken finger basket, which is almost more than you can eat, that's a great value. It's cheaper than fast food, and we can do that only because we have a lot of volume. We move a lot of product, so we have some buying power, and we have very low overhead. My wife runs our office. My son runs the stores, and we just don't have overhead like these big, massive chain restaurants and big companies, and so we're able to keep that price, and it really helps us in times like right now during high inflation where folks can't hardly afford to go out to eat.
Right.
Well, $6.99, you're not going to go to the grocery store and gather food up and take it home and cook it for that.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
But how did you pick what items they were going to be?
Just kind of hit or miss in the beginning. And
have they because now they're pretty standard of what they are. They've been there for a long time.
Right.
Was there much? Did you try some things in specials early on?
Yeah, early on we were trying different things all the time, and people kept asking, so we started landing products on particular days, and then we do our ribs on the weekend.
Yeah, and do you? Where do you all smoke or cook those?
In the stores.
Really?
We import our ribs from Denmark.
Okay.
And so they're the real deal. Probably the only restaurant anywhere in Middle Tennessee that I know of that's still doing that. The recipe is about 30 years old for that. It came from Chicago and from a restaurant up there. And so, Danish baby back ribs, and then we sell them relatively inexpensive on the weekends.
I know it. I mean, a lot of times that's sometimes my Sunday evening, wrap up the weekend.
Nice.
Kind of deal.
It's a great meal.
It really is.
You can't beat the price.
Yep, absolutely. Wade Hayes is our guest here, and we've talked a lot about food. We're going to talk about how Toots has been part of the community and a whole lot more. Final segment. The hour kind of whizzes by here as we talk here on this Wednesday Roundtable. Back in a minute. More with Wade Hayes here on WGNS.
Does your home need freshening up? Let our family at Farrah Construction help you. We do painting, new flooring, anything that you need. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Farrah Construction offers high-quality craftsmanship, quick response, and attention to detail. For home restoration at a price you can afford, Farrah Construction can get the job done no matter how big or small it is. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Rayburn Insurance in Smyrna.
Come see me, Rick Hall, at Rayburn Insurance in downtown Smyrna today.
Online at rayburn.net.
For years, I have felt ashamed of my weight, but not anymore thanks to Magnolia Medical Center. There, I received a special weight loss injection that has changed my life. Thank you, Magnolia Medical Center.
Online at magnoliamedicalcenters.com.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
French's Shoes and Boots, your hometown store for boots, shoes, apparel, and more, is family owned, and you'll always find friendly service with the lowest prices on the best brands. We know there's nothing worse than a boot that doesn't fit right, so come see us on South Church Street to get a great fitting on high-quality footwear. We've been outfitting Tennessee since 1903.
It makes good sense to shop at French's. French's Shoes and Boots.
1837 South Church Street in Murfreesboro.
Get pharmacy services with a cherry on top from Reeves Sane, Murfreesboro's hometown pharmacy since 1980 at 1801 Memorial Boulevard and at reeves-sane.com.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments and get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
We're cracking the code of toots today, and with Wade Hayes. They've been in business 38 years, and I like having folks who have are pillars of our business community here. And Wade, we have stirred up folks out there, and they've got a couple of calls. And Brian, let's take the first one. Hi there, you're on with on the Roundtable today with Wade Hayes. What you got?
Thank you. Good morning, Chip, and good morning, Wade. This is Don Ash.
Hey,
I know you're getting ready to talk about the community stuff, but let me tell you, Wade Hayes and his family and his wife have done as much in this community as anybody I know. Wade and I served on the Boys and Girls Club forever board, and he always wrote a check, never asked for anything, never asked for any recognition. That's really what I think community heroes are. They just give and give and give, and then he has on top of that a fantastic restaurant. My children now take my grandchildren there to get the free hot dogs when I took them when they were little. So, Wade, I just want to call you and tell you how much I appreciate you and how much this community appreciates you. And like I said, you're one of the community heroes. So, Chip, didn't mean to bother you. Just wanted to share that word with you.
Hey, man, thanks a lot, Don. And you're exactly right, because steak and burger dinner was going to be on my list of things, because the Toots crew has been out there doing the burgers and steaks for the Boys and Girls Club for a long, long time.
Well, first off, I want to thank Judge Ash for calling in and making those super nice comments. That's awesome. And I do remember him coming in when his kids were small, and that's a great memory for me, too.
Yeah.
Steak and burgers just developed over the years. And as a matter of fact, we don't do it anymore. It's gotten so huge. It's at MTSU.
Right.
In that big student center.
The new student union.
Over 1,000 people. And it just we kind of couldn't do it hardly anymore, but we did do it for
I remember when you all used to do it out at World Outreach, and you all would have, it's not easy, taking your show on the road, basically, to do all of that.
We don't cater, and that was like our only gig that we did that.
Yeah. We're going to circle back around. Yes, Don.
Y'all have a great day. And like I said, Wade, thank you. And Chip, thanks for having Wade on there.
Hey.
And go Blue Raiders, by the way.
Hey, that was fun last night, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot, Judge Ash. And next caller up, I think, is going to put you on the spot here a little bit. All right, caller, go ahead.
You got me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't know about being on the spot. I guess maybe could be. Well, first, Wayne, I do appreciate all your community service and everything. You're probably spending my money, because I've been spending thousands of dollars at Toots, even the one at Bowling Green that it's no longer in service. Been to all of them, and I really appreciate all that food. But I guess the big deal is was the clam basket. I used to go in there with my buddies. We just loved those steamers, man. They were some of the best. But your logo is the clam still dancing up there, and I heard Chip say on Fridays you still have shrimp and I guess
catfish,
and clams, but clams is no longer, right?
Right. We, that's another. We're slowly bringing back items that we were forced to take off because we couldn't get them during COVID. The supply chain, as crazy as it was, there was things we could get, things we couldn't, and so like seafood salad.
Right.
We couldn't, believe it or not, we couldn't get the small pasta shells to make the seafood salad, so we had to take it off the menu. Clams, we could not get. We have to buy those in strips, and then before we do our thing to them, and so that is an item that's talked about at every manager meeting. We're slowly bringing some stuff back on, but that's definitely one. You said it earlier, Chip, and I was kind of cringed because we did take it off. But and thank you whoever that is calling in, because that's mini corn dogs. People just went crazy when we took it off the menu. We just couldn't get them.
Yeah.
And so we're slowly implementing those items back up on the menu. I promise you clam basket will be on the menu probably on our next printing or so.
Okay, good deal.
I promise you I'll be in there again.
Well, thank you.
Things. I'll be at the trough. Thank you.
Good deal. Thanks a lot for the call. And and I remember that when you handle, because you all sell a ton of catfish, especially on Fridays, and you the shrimp that you have. How obviously food handling is a big deal, and
it's a really big deal,
and especially when you start dealing with seafood and you've got other things around that. So that's a big priority for you guys.
It really
has
is.
to be
for every restaurant, and the health department, is in Tennessee is very stern, and that's a good thing.
Right.
But each item is seafood is handled different than beef. It's handled way different than chicken. And then you got fresh vegetables that has to stay away from all of it during the prepping process, and it all kind of comes together when people order their meal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talked a little bit about the Boys and Girls Club. Talk about how Toots got involved with that. Like I said, you don't do it now, but
honest truth,
you went a long time doing a lot of stuff with steak and burger dinner and things like that.
My first steak and burger was in the 90s, and Peyton Manning came to Murphy Center.
Gotcha.
And the restaurant that was doing steak and burger was Fuddruckers.
Gotcha.
Remember Fuddruckers?
Yep.
Remember where it was?
It was right there at the corner of Memorial and Northfield.
Yeah, exactly, where the Murphy gas station is now.
Yeah, but the first restaurant that was in that building.
Yeah.
Chesney's,
correct. Yeah, they were King Kong when I came to town.
Are you not? There's no question about that.
But
happy hour at Chesney's was unbelievable. It was the place to meet and greet.
I was so jealous that Fuddruckers was doing steak and burger because all these celebrities were coming in, and they really had their name out there, and I just really wanted that fundraising, gig, so to speak. And I was in Toots one day, and somebody came in and said, "Did you hear about Fuddruckers? They closed." I said, "What do you mean they closed? They're gone. They shut their doors." I said, "You got to be kidding." I got in my car, drove down Memorial, pulled up. There was a paper sign in the window, and I got out of my car, walked over, and it says, "We are officially closed. Thank you for, however many 20 years or 10 years or however long they were in."
So you wanted to see for yourself.
And so I stood there and drove down to the Boys and Girls Club and asked them if I could be, I heard Fuddruckers Club. They didn't even know it, and said, "Hey, this next steak and burger, I really want to be part of that, and we'd love to do the burgers for you."
Yeah,
and that's how I started.
So that was obviously a big thing there.
I can't tell you the years, in the probably mid to late 90s.
And you kind of touched on it earlier, but in addition to steak and burger, you all kind of conjured up some of your own, working with other local philanthropic organizations. I remember doing stuff out in the parking lots and things like that. Kind of talk about some of those things and how those ideas popped up.
We probably the biggest one that most people can remember is our 4th of July parties.
Right.
And that all started because they shot fireworks off at Old Fort Park back in the day, back in the 80s. And I mean, this goes all the way back to the 80s. And customers would come in Jackson Heights Plaza and line their cars up and open their tailgates and bring out, a cooler full of soft drinks or beer or whatever. And we weren't getting any business because no one had a place to park.
That's right.
And so we thought, man, we got to turn this into something. And so we the next year we put a stage out there and got hired. We didn't hire them. We had a volunteer, couple of groups wanted to play music and put a big tent up and just turn that into just a massive bash. And then we raised money for the United Way, had a Dunkin' booth, and the whole shopping center parking lot on 4th of July was people coming to the party. Then they moved the fireworks over to MTSU,
right?
And it just killed our party, and so we stopped. And all those now it's back in that area, in the old Fort Park area. And so the last couple of years, we're like, do we bring our party back? And so that's being discussed as well. But that was a big fundraiser for us.
Yeah, and I remember there was always again back when you were the only show in town that did wings, Super Bowl parties that people had at their homes. How many?
They didn't have them at their homes as much as because flat screen TVs weren't out.
Well, that's true.
So the biggest TV you had was a 25-inch cathode ray TV, and I had big screens. Had two of them. The old $10,000 big screen TVs. And so we had Super Bowl parties, and then we raised money, brought in Kelly Holcomb and Kenny Tippins and some of the old Mike Caldwell, who's now
he's the defensive coordinator of the Jags now.
Yeah. He came in and we'd have autograph signing parties and during Super Bowl and just always have had a line out the door for
I'd
our
pay
wings.
Kelly not to sign an autograph for me.
Right. Well, he was a superstar at one time.
Oh yeah, Kelly's my man. We go back a long way. Had a texter here said they moved here 8 years ago and Toots quickly became our favorite restaurant. The favorite is Toots on Broad. Best burgers in town. My favorite, by the way, is the Toots burger with the barbecue sauce and the bacon and all that. Love the daily specials. Their favorite is Friday fish.
Okay.
It's like I sent this text in myself. Said tell everyone. We tell everybody about the daily specials and take friends that visit us there. And I agree. Again, this is me. Folks that come into town said, where can we go that's local? Well, let's go to Toots or, somewhere like that. So, and also here, this is a great question here too. Said we always get a good laugh at the daily quotes on the marquee. So thank you to Toots. That's from our texter. Thank you so much. But who comes up with the phrases on the marquees?
So I'm going to say the first 3 or 4 full years that I was there, we didn't have any money for advertising.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I had was that sign out there. And I saw some funny church sign in Nashville, and I thought, man, I need to be doing, that's something for free. We can get people to stare at our sign. And it all started with our daily special. So I put a daily special up and then something funny underneath. And people would laugh and come in and say they saw our sign and pulled in, and it caught their attention. So we started writing those down in a notebook, and we kept a notebook of all the funny. And then people would come up with a funny slogan or quote managers and customers, and we'd write it down. And now we probably have a logbook of 200 funny quotes.
I got to remember that. I need to text you a few things that have come across my mind on those things. So,
okay, yeah. So that's how it started, and even to this day, and Toots South doesn't have a marquee, so we can't do it.
Right.
The new store at West, we were limited by city codes to the size of our reader board.
The sign police.
Yeah. But Smyrna, we've got a big one, and we do it in Smyrna as well.
Well, and that opens up a whole nother can of if digital signage would make your life easier instead of having to change the letters out every day, but that's a whole different conversation. You mentioned your son, Nick, is heavily involved. How gratifying has it been for this to be your family business for the last 38 years?
It has been, I never dreamed that this would happen to me and my family. It's just pinch myself some days because, what a wonderful place that we landed in Murfreesboro way back when Keith and I were very young. And just to see everything grow around us and us be part of it has been outstanding as well. And Nick is just a very, very smart individual, great with employees, great with customers, and we're just blessed to have him.
Yeah.
And he still listens to me most of the time, but I listen to him equally as much. And the times have changed. Everything has changed. And COVID was just an experience that who would have thought we would have to deal with that. And in the restaurant business, especially, it was a nightmare, and it was scary, and I didn't know what. None of us knew, what was going to happen next.
I mean, you all were obviously run you ran a great business, but during all of that, there was no guarantees that anybody was going to come out on the other side, especially in the restaurant business.
That's right, and we had just opened Toots West, which was a major, expensive restaurant to build and to get open. And then COVID hit, and and there for a while we could do anything. Then we had to do only takeout, and I was scared to death.
So what does the future hold? At one point there were some franchised restaurants out there in Bowling Green, Cincinnati area, but it's the four. It's the four here in the county. As the county continues to grow, and especially in different areas, are there, in the back of your mind, do you ever see a fifth location?
We talk about it, my son and I, and we haven't. It's gotten so expensive now
to start
a restaurant, and that's why you see very, very few freestanding building restaurants. And so, fortunately, two of ours are in shopping centers.
Yeah.
And so we kind of got two freestanding buildings, two shopping center restaurants, and we will be looking for what comes next. We don't know. We would love to grow, but we don't. Who knows? That deal has to come first, and it has to make sense.
Well, until that happens, the four restaurants for Toots here in Rutherford County are going to continue to give you good food and fun, as they say on the jingle, and it is certainly true. And Wade, we've been great friends for a long, long time, and I'm so tickled that things have continued to go well, and even more tickled that you came on today and had a chance to tell the story a little bit, because there's a lot of folks that are so new here, they don't know how it all started, and I was glad we could tell that story today.
Thank you, Chip, and thanks to you and Brian and Bart and WGNS, and we're so blessed to have this radio station in our community. It's been great. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Wade Hayes, our guest today, and if you missed any of it, it will be on the podcast here in the very not too distant future at all, and we'll put links out on my socials about all that as well. We'll have another episode coming up for you next Wednesday, but stay right here. Brian Barrett is next on the Big G, WGNS.